You need to stop what you're doing and check your pocket change right now, because these old coins could be a hidden treasure worth serious money, and people are accidentally spending them every single day without even noticing. Welcome back to Lucky Penny Finds, and today we're exposing the top 4 most valuable ultra-rare wheat pennies and Monticello Jefferson war nickels that secret collectors are fighting over in quiet auctions across America. Do not spend these coins, because some tiny detail changes everything. And one dirty old coin sitting in a jar could actually be a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. These coins are special. These coins are hidden wealth, and every next coin in this video gets rarer, more shocking, and worth even bigger money. Stay to the end, because the final coin is the kind of life-changing opportunity nobody talks about, and what collectors are paying for it is a real auction shock. First, coin number 1. The 1920 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that looks completely ordinary at first glance, and that is exactly why people keep losing fortunes without realizing it. This coin hides in old drawers, forgotten jars, dusty piggy banks, and family collections that nobody has checked in years. Most people see an old penny and think it is worthless, but collectors see something completely different. They see hidden wealth. They see a silent fortune. They see a rare survivor from a brutal time in American history. And when the right example appears, the bidding becomes aggressive fast. This is not fiction. These old coins are a treasure, and this particular wheat penny has become one of the most dangerous coins to ignore if you care about rare U.S. coin discoveries. Back in 1920, America was entering a strange and difficult transition period. The First World War had recently ended. Industries were changing rapidly, money pressure was rising, and the country was trying to stabilize after massive economic stress. Factories were overloaded, production systems were strained, and the U.S. Mint was working under pressure to keep coins flowing through the economy. Pennies were moving heavily through circulation because everyday Americans depended on small change more than ever before. That intense use is exactly why surviving 1920 wheat pennies in extra-fine condition are so difficult to find today. Most were spent hard, damaged, cleaned, scratched, or simply disappeared forever. But every once in a while, one survives with strong detail, original surfaces, and that deep antique look collectors obsess over. The moment you hold a real 1920 wheat penny in your hand, you can actually feel the age and presence of the coin. It has weight to it, history inside it, and a completely different personality compared to modern coins people throw around today. The coin was made mostly from copper with a small amount of tin and zinc blended into the metal, giving it that rich, warm tone collectors love. It weighs about 3.11 grams, has a diameter close to 19 millimeters, and a thickness around 1.5 millimeters. But those numbers are not what make collectors lose their minds over this coin. It is the originality, the untouched surfaces, the honest wear, the old brown and reddish toning slowly built over more than a century. That is where the hidden treasure lives. On the front of the coin, you see the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and even today the design still feels powerful. His profile has a strong presence that collectors immediately recognize. Around him are the words, "In God we trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1920th, but what changes everything is what is missing. There is no mint mark under the date. That means this coin came from the Philadelphia Mint, and collectors pay extremely close attention to these no mint mark examples because condition and surface quality become unbelievably important. Tiny differences separate ordinary coins from silent fortunes worth huge money. Flip the coin over, and you see the classic wheat ears stretching along both sides of the reverse design. Those wheat stalks became a symbol of old American strength, hard work, and survival. The words 1 cent and United States of America stand boldly in the center, and underneath sits E pluribus unum. It sounds simple, but collectors become obsessed with how sharp those wheat lines remain after all these years. If the grain detail is still visible and strong, excitement starts building immediately. This detail changes everything. Now here is where things become dangerous for people who do not understand rare coins. Many owners destroy the value themselves. They clean the coin. They polish it. They scrub away the original surface, thinking they are improving it. That is a disaster. Never clean this coin. A cleaned wheat penny loses the exact thing serious collectors want most: originality. Those old surfaces, the natural toning, the tiny signs of honest circulation, and the untouched antique appearance are what creates serious collector demand. Once that surface is damaged, the hidden wealth can collapse instantly. Extra fine condition examples are especially important because most 1,920 pennies circulated heavily for decades. Finding one with visible wheat detail, cleaner lettering, stronger facial features on Lincoln, and original color is incredibly difficult now. Collectors know survival numbers continue shrinking every single year because coins get damaged, lost, or altered. That shrinking supply is creating intense pressure in the market, and experienced collectors are holding on to premium examples instead of selling them. Some collections stay hidden for decades before one of these coins suddenly appears at auction again. And when it does appear, the room changes. Quiet collectors suddenly become aggressive bidders. Dealers start watching closely. Phones come out, people whisper. Because everybody understands the same thing. A truly attractive 1,920 with no mint mark wheat penny with strong originality is not easy to replace. This is why some examples have reached today's shocking market value of around $360,000, turning what looks like a simple old cent into life-changing wealth and serious money hidden in plain sight. What makes this even crazier is that many people still spend these coins accidentally. They see dirt and wear and assume the coin is worthless. That mistake is happening every single day. Somewhere, somebody is cashing in a coin jar right now without realizing a silent fortune may be sitting inside. Do not spend this coin. Check every date carefully. Look for strong detail in the wheat lines. Watch for original brown or reddish toning. Pay attention to surfaces that look natural and untouched. And most importantly, if you think you found one, professional grading is critical because authentication and condition can completely change the value. Patience is golden in the rare coin world. The smartest collectors do not rush. They study surfaces carefully. They avoid cleaned examples. They search for originality because originality is where the real hidden treasure lives. This is why collectors continue fighting for coins like this while ordinary people keep ignoring them. Rare coins are big money, and nobody talks enough about how easily these treasures slip through people's hands. But what comes next is even bigger. The next coin in this video has a shocking detail that most people miss completely, and collectors are hunting for it with an obsession that has pushed values into unbelievable territory. Stay till the end, because the next hidden treasure coin is rarer, more dangerous to ignore, and could change everything if you find one hiding in your pocket change. Next coin number 2. The 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those dangerous little coins people ignore every single day, and that mistake could cost somebody a hidden fortune. This old 1-cent coin does not scream wealth when you first see it. It looks worn, dark, ordinary, maybe even worthless to the average person. But collectors know the truth. This coin is a silent treasure hiding in plain sight, and the craziest part is that people are still accidentally spending these coins like pocket trash, while serious buyers quietly fight over them behind closed auction doors. Do not spend this coin because one tiny detail on a 1939 wheat penny can completely change everything. The year 1939 was a tense moment in American history. The country was still feeling pressure from the Great Depression. Families were struggling to recover financially, and across the world, the threat of another massive war was beginning to grow. America was entering a period of uncertainty, and during times like that, coin production and circulation became intense. Pennies moved constantly through shops, factories, train stations, and everyday transactions. Coins were handled roughly, stacked carelessly, and worn down fast. That is exactly why surviving 1939 wheat pennies in very good condition with original surfaces have become so desirable today. Most were destroyed slowly through decades of heavy use, and many more were cleaned by people who had no idea they were ruining hidden wealth. The moment a real 1939 with no mint mark wheat penny lands in your hand, you feel something different about it. It carries age, character, and presence. The coin was struck mainly from copper with small amounts of tin and zinc mixed into the metal, giving it that rich old color collectors absolutely love. It weighs around 3.11 grams, measures about 19 millimeters across, and has a thickness close to 1.5 millimeters. But those physical numbers only tell part of the story. The real value lives in the personality of the coin itself. That old brown surface, the deep vintage glow, the worn but honest appearance. Collectors stare at those details because originality is everything in the rare coin world. On the front of the coin is the instantly recognizable portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and even after all these decades, his image still stands strong. Around him are the familiar words, liberty, in God we trust, and the date, 1939. But what makes collectors stop and look twice is what is not there. There is no mint mark below the date. That means this coin came from the Philadelphia Mint, and these no mint mark examples have become extremely important because collectors focus heavily on strike quality, wear patterns, and original surfaces. Tiny details matter here more than most people could imagine. Turn the coin over, and you see the classic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. That reverse design became one of the most iconic looks in American coin history, and collectors become obsessed with how much detail survives in those wheat stalks. Even in very good condition, certain line patterns and surface textures can trigger serious excitement. This is where hidden treasure begins revealing itself. Some coins show soft, natural toning that developed slowly over generations, while others carry darker antique shades that make the coin look almost mysterious. Those untouched surfaces are gold to collectors. And this is where many people destroy a fortune without realizing it. They clean the coin. They polish it until it shines. They scrub away decades of natural aging because they think shiny means valuable. That is the exact opposite of what serious collectors want. Never clean this coin. The original toning matters more than people understand. Once the surface is damaged, the coin loses its authentic personality and the hidden wealth can vanish instantly. Professional collectors can spot cleaned surfaces almost immediately, and once they do, interest drops hard. What makes the 1939 wheat penny especially fascinating is how survival became harder over time. These coins circulated during difficult years when people depended heavily on every cent they had. Coins were not saved carefully back then. They were spent over and over again through stores, diners, factories, and train stations. By the time collectors began paying attention years later, most examples were already badly worn or destroyed. That shrinking supply is exactly why demand keeps rising now. Serious collectors understand that every original surviving piece is becoming harder to find. And when one of these coins with strong originality suddenly appears in the market, the atmosphere changes fast. Quiet bidding turns aggressive. Collectors start watching each other carefully. Dealers know opportunities like this do not appear often anymore. Some buyers are not even purchasing for profit. They are buying because they believe these coins represent hidden American history that can never truly be replaced. This is not fiction. These old coins are a treasure, and some collectors hold on to them for decades without ever selling. That demand has pushed the best examples into shocking territory, and today the market value for a rare high-demand 1939 no-mint mark wheat penny has reached around $416,000. Think about that for a second. A tiny old cent people ignore in circulation could actually represent life-changing wealth and serious money hiding quietly in plain sight. This is why collectors constantly warn people to check old jars, family boxes, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers before throwing coins away or cashing them in. There are certain details smart collectors always check first. They study the date carefully under strong light. They examine the wheat lines on the reverse. They look for natural wear instead of artificial shine. They search for untouched surfaces and original brown color because those details separate ordinary coins from silent fortunes. And if you ever believe you found one with strong originality, professional grading becomes critical. Authentication and proper condition evaluation can completely change the future of the coin. Patience is another secret most beginners never understand. The best collectors do not rush into cleaning or selling. They protect the coin carefully, keep it untouched, and wait for the right moment because rare coin demand keeps getting stronger while surviving examples continue disappearing. Every year more coins are damaged, lost, or altered forever. That means original survivors become even more valuable over time. But what comes next is even more unbelievable. The next coin hiding in this video has a wartime secret detail that collectors are desperately searching for right now. And the story behind it sounds almost too shocking to be real. Stay till the end, because the next hidden treasure coin is rarer, more valuable, and far more dangerous to ignore than anyone expects. Next coin number 3. The 1942 Monticello Jefferson war nickel with the large P mint mark is one of the most dangerous hidden treasure coins still floating around in old collections and forgotten change jars today, and most people have absolutely no idea what they are holding. At first glance, it looks like a dirty old nickel with worn edges and faded color, something people would spend without a second thought at a gas station or grocery store. But collectors know this coin tells a completely different story. This is wartime money. This is a silent fortune connected to one of the most intense periods in American history, and some examples are worth serious money that can completely shock ordinary people. Do not spend this coin because one small detail above Monticello changes everything. Back in 1942, the United States had officially entered World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor, and the entire country shifted into survival mode almost overnight. Factories changed production lines, metal supplies became critical, and the government desperately needed nickel metal for military equipment, armor plating, and wartime manufacturing. That pressure forced the U.S. Mint into an emergency transformation that created one of the most famous hidden treasure coins ever produced. This is not fiction. These old coins are a treasure, and the 1942 war nickel became part of America's wartime survival story. Normally, Jefferson nickels were made using traditional nickel-metal blends, but wartime shortages changed everything. The mint suddenly altered the composition completely, creating a strange silver-based alloy that most people today still do not recognize. These wartime nickels were struck using a mixture containing silver, copper, and manganese instead of the normal metal formula, giving the coin a completely different personality and appearance. That unusual wartime composition is exactly why collectors obsess over them now. They are not ordinary nickels. They are emergency wartime relics hiding in plain sight. The moment you hold a real 1942 war nickel in your hand, you can feel that it carries history inside it. The coin weighs around 5 grams, measures approximately 21.2 millimeters across, and has a thickness near 1.95 millimeters. It feels solid, old, and important in a way modern coins never do. Many surviving examples develop strange gray surfaces, dark antique toning, or smoky silver shades because of the wartime metal mixture. Collectors love those original surfaces because they reveal authenticity and age. Some coins even develop dramatic toning patterns over decades that make them look almost unreal under light. That old, untouched look is exactly what serious collectors chase. On the front of the coin appears the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, but during wartime production, the mint added something completely different that shocked collectors for generations afterward. Above Monticello, on the reverse side, sits a giant letter P mint mark, far larger than normal mint marks used before. This was the very first time the Philadelphia Mint ever placed a P mint mark on a U.S. coin for circulation, and that one detail instantly turned these nickels into legendary collector targets. That giant P mint mark became the signal that this coin was part of America's wartime emergency production. People back then spent these nickels every day without thinking twice. But today, collectors stare directly at that oversized mint mark because it separates ordinary nickels from hidden treasure coins worth huge money. This detail changes everything. Many people still overlook it because they never think a nickel could hold silent fortune value, which is exactly why these treasures keep slipping through circulation unnoticed. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design shows the famous Monticello building, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. Even in almost fine condition, collectors carefully study the building steps, windows, lettering, and surface texture. They pay attention to every tiny surviving detail because condition matters enormously with wartime nickels. Most examples circulated heavily during the war years when Americans depended on every coin they had. Coins were tossed into pockets, dropped on counters, scraped against other metal, and worn down through constant use. That heavy circulation destroyed countless pieces forever. And then came another disaster for surviving examples. Cleaning. People ruined huge numbers of war nickels trying to make them shiny again. That mistake still destroys value today. Never clean this coin. Original toning matters more than most people understand. Those dark grey shades, silver blue colors, and natural aged surfaces are exactly what collectors want to see. Once the original skin of the coin is removed, serious buyers often lose interest immediately because the authenticity feels damaged. What makes the 1942 large P mint mark war nickel even more fascinating is that collectors believe many surviving examples remain hidden inside ordinary family collections where nobody understands their importance. Some people inherited these coins from grandparents and forgot about them completely. Others mixed them into jars with modern pocket change. Meanwhile, serious collectors continue hunting aggressively because the supply of untouched originals keeps shrinking every year. Auction behavior around these coins can become surprisingly intense. Quiet collectors suddenly begin competing hard once an original wartime nickel with attractive surfaces appears. Dealers recognize that truly authentic examples with strong character are becoming harder to replace. Some collectors refuse to sell theirs at all because wartime coins hold emotional importance beyond money. They represent sacrifice, survival, and one of the most dramatic periods in US. That powerful demand has pushed some rare examples into astonishing territory, and today certain 1942 large P mint mark war nickels have reached market values around $250,000, transforming what looks like an ordinary 5-cent coin into hidden wealth and life-changing money. Think about how crazy that sounds. A worn wartime nickel sitting unnoticed in a box could secretly be worth more than many homes. This is why collectors constantly warn people to check old nickels carefully before spending them. If you ever search through old change, pay attention to the reverse side above Monticello. Look carefully for that large P mint mark because it is the first signal you may have found something special. Study the surfaces closely. Natural aging is good. Original toning is important. Artificial shine is dangerous. And if the coin looks promising, professional grading becomes critical because authentication and condition can completely transform collector demand. Patience is everything in rare coin hunting. Smart collectors know these wartime nickels are disappearing slowly as damaged examples continue vanishing from the market forever. Every surviving original becomes more desirable as time passes. This is why serious buyers stay ready whenever one appears. But the next coin in this video is even more unbelievable. The final hidden treasure has a shocking rarity that collectors are almost obsessed with, and what people are paying for it today feels almost impossible to believe. Stay till the end, because the next coin could be the biggest silent fortune of them all. Next coin number 4. The 1943 Monticello Jefferson war nickel with the large S-mint mark is the kind of coin people throw into a drawer and forget about for years, never realizing they may have just ignored a hidden treasure worth serious money. This old wartime nickel does not look flashy. It does not shine like gold. In fact, many of these coins carry strange brown shades, dark aging, and worn surfaces that make ordinary people think they are damaged or worthless. But collectors see something completely different. They see wartime history. They see a silent fortune. They see one of the most mysterious hidden wealth coins ever released into American circulation. And the wildest part is that people are still accidentally spending these coins every single day. The year 1943 was one of the most intense periods America had ever faced. World War II was raging across the globe, metal supplies were under pressure, and the U.S. government was desperately conserving important materials for military production. Nickel metal was urgently needed for wartime equipment, weapons, and machinery, so the U.S. Mint completely changed the composition of the 5-cent coin. That emergency decision created the legendary Jefferson War nickel series collectors are obsessed with today. This is not fiction. These old coins are a treasure born directly from wartime survival. Unlike ordinary nickels, the 1943 war nickel was struck using a special silver alloy mixture containing silver, copper, and manganese. That unusual wartime metal blend gave the coin a completely different appearance over time. Many surviving examples developed smoky gray colors, silver blue surfaces, or deep brown shades that collectors now consider incredibly attractive when natural and untouched. That brown shade on a very fine condition example can become especially important because it often signals original aging and authentic wartime character. This detail changes everything. When you hold a real 1943 large S-Mint Mark war nickel, it feels completely different from modern pocket change. The coin weighs approximately 55 grams, measures about 21.2 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness close to 1.95 millimeters. It feels sturdy, historic, and strangely powerful in the hand. These wartime nickels carry the emotional weight of an entire generation that lived through sacrifice, uncertainty, and global conflict. Collectors feel that history the moment they touch one. On the front of the coin stands the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, and even after decades of circulation, his profile still commands attention. The lettering around him tells the story of old American coinage, but the true hidden treasure waits on the reverse side. Flip the coin over, and there it is, above Monticello, the giant S-Mint mark from the San Francisco Mint. Larger than normal mint marks from earlier coins, this oversized S became the wartime signal that the coin was struck using the emergency silver alloy composition. Collectors immediately focus on that large S because it separates these special wartime nickels from ordinary circulation pieces. People who do not understand rare coins often miss it completely. They spend the coin without thinking twice, never realizing that one tiny mint mark could mean hidden wealth worth a fortune. Secret collectors want these original wartime pieces badly because supply keeps shrinking every year. The reverse design itself is legendary. The image of Monticello sits proudly in the center with strong architectural detail that collectors carefully examine under magnification. Even in very fine condition, the steps, windows, roof lines, and lettering become critically important. Tiny surviving details tell collectors how well the coin survived the decades of circulation. Most 1943 war nickels were used heavily during wartime America when coins moved rapidly through stores, military bases, restaurants, factories, and train stations. Survival in attractive original condition became extremely rare. And then came one of the biggest mistakes people still make today: